Hello and welcome back to the Point Left podcast with your hosts
Skyler
and and Kaylynne. Sorry, I had to burp.
and you're telling me I almost forgot my line.
Oh my god.
My line is my name.
My line is my name.
With your host, and I was like,
What am I supposed to say?
Line.
Please.
Never
Yeah.
work in this town again.
So this actually happened a few weeks ago, but I never talked about it on the pod, and I meant to because I think it's kind of a funny story. It was like terrifying in the moment, but it is kind of a funny story. So recently one of my like BFFs from high school, Cassidy, shout out, came into town because she was going to see Taylor Swift in Los Angeles. So she came to like stay with me, whatever. And it was literally like the day of, and I had zero plans on going because I don't have a fucking $1,000 to spend on a ticket. And Cassidy was like, if you drive us like to and from the concert, oh my god, why could I not think of the word concert? Brain worms. If you drive us like to and from the concert, oh my god.
One Diet Coke, huh?
Yeah.
Speaking of Swifties, what a good beverage.
Wow.
Taylor Swift was sponsored by Diet Coke for a while.
She's a Coke girl.
I thought you were saying she's a cunt. I'm like, whoa, whoa.
No, but Cassidy was like, if you drive us like to and from the concert, the I keep wanting to say like tour, and I'm like, I guess that's the same thing. The tour. But to the concert, like I will pay for half your ticket. Because she was like, the fucking Ubers like to and from your apartment anyway are gonna be that cost anyway. So like she's like, I saved up for this, like, and I would want to go with a friend. Like, this is perfect. And I was like, you've convinced me. So I got a last minute ticket. I got the worst possible fucking seat in like literally in the entire arena. It was behind the stage, so you couldn't even like see anything that was happening on the stage. I did not sit there. I went to like a little like balcony thing and just like sat off. But anyway, it was a wonderful experience. It was lovely. I'm not going to claim to be the biggest like Swiftie fan. I unfortunately didn't know the lyrics to a lot of the songs. But it was still a fun experience. But anyway, we didn't have like a parking pass for the like on-site parking. So we just parked in like this random neighborhood and then walked like a mile to the concert. Oh my god, I literally cannot think of the word concert every single time. This is a problem. But yeah, so we parked like a mile away, walked to the concert, and then we're like, okay, we'll just like Uber back to the car. Cause it's like dark where, you know, girls dressed like kind of reveal, like it just didn't feel like the smartest idea to like walk back to our car by ourselves. So the concert's over. We're waiting for our Uber. We're desperately trying to book an Uber. Hours go by, literally like 2 hours probably fucking go by because we're only going a mile. So our Uber drive is only like a $10 like Uber ride.
Yeah.
And all of the drivers are like, no, all of these other bitches are taking like $100, $200 Uber rides to like get across town. I'm not going to take your puny little 1 mile thing and have to go through all this concert traffic. And like, fair enough. Makes sense. Whatever. But yeah, so it fucking took forever just to get an Uber. We finally get a lift. Like literally 2 hours later, we had to pay for like the Lyft Black because we're like, these bitches are only coming if they're getting like a decent amount of money, which is fair, whatever. We paid like $40 to go like a mile. It was fine. But our Lyft driver, a hoot, lovely man. He best of intentions, cannot express that enough. But me and Cassidy, we were even talking like, I don't know, the neighborhood we like the street we parked on, it just like didn't feel the safest to be like walking around at night. So we were just at night. So we were just like, okay, you know, we'll just get dropped off, hop in the car, lock the doors, be on our way. Like, we're good. Not that big of a deal, right? So first of all, this guy, there are these people on the like bike carriages. Like, you have the bicyclist and then they have the carriage that they're like towing and you can pay them for rides. So there were people on that, and the guy like points them out and he's like, never go on those. That is the most dangerous thing you could possibly do. And then he's like, a car hits you, dead. Like, it was so, he was like, promise me you are never going to go on one of those things. And we're like, yeah, no.
This is like just an actual like angel. Yeah. Like, an angel from heaven in like a human disguise being like, listen to me now. Yeah, he's like, a time traveler.
Never. No, literally. and that's how I die. But so it was just like, he very clearly had like a heightened sense of danger just from that moment. So I just like put in a random address of this house that was like near our parking spot. So we're like driving up and he's like, here. And I was like, actually, do you mind turning the corner? Like, we're just trying to get to our car. Like, our car is parked here. If you just turn the corner, like, it's right there. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, he stops the car, he puts it in park, and he turns around and he's like, run. He's like, lock your doors.
He just like loads a BB gun. He's like, run.
You have 5 seconds.
The most dangerous game.
But like, I don't know, me and Cassidy were already like a little bit on edge because we were just like, this doesn't feel like the safest area to be in. Like, we just want to get in our car and go home. It's fucking midnight on like a Monday. Like, we just want to go home. And so we're like already just like a little on edge. And then this man is turning to us and he's like, run to your car, go, lock your doors. So we're like, okay. And we're like getting out. And literally as we're like opening our door, we're like trying to make sure we like have everything out of the back seat. And he's yelling out the fucking window. He's like, run to your car, go, lock your doors. And we're like, what the fuck? We're like, what does this man see? Like, it literally felt
Bigfoot
like
is bounding towards you guys at like a speed of 3,000 miles an hour.
I know, I'm like, does he know something we don't? Like, what is happening? Like, why is he screaming at us to like run for our lives? So we finally we're like, okay, we run to the car and we lock the doors and I'm literally shaking. Not because anything happened. Yeah. Literally no one was around. Like, nothing happened. I don't think anything was going to happen. Like, it was fine. But like, because this man had instilled so much fear into me, because I'm like, if he is telling us to run, like, something has to be wrong. Like, I'm like, he must see someone. Like, I don't know what is happening. Or I'm like, maybe this area was like even worse than like I thought it was. Like, I don't, like, I don't know. And I literally get to the car and I'm like shaking and hyperventilating. And I was just like, sir, I know you had the best of intentions. You like I literally had to sit in the car for like 5 minutes and just breathe because because this man instilled so much fear into me. So that was my Eras Tour experience.
Taylor Swift, you owe her compensation.
Yes, please.
No, actually, I'm going to mention something we said earlier in the previous episode about how astrology kind of relies a lot on like you and like giving it a lot of meaning, where it's like, if this is in retrograde, you might have like, problems with technology. Like, that's a vague enough thing to say, like, if you ever like your phone broke or ran out of service or like it wouldn't restart, you can suddenly be like, oh, that's why. And like, I feel like, it casts a wide enough net that, what could have been just coincidences turn into like proof, right? And I feel very similarly about the way that some Swifties view Taylor Swift. Like, don't get me wrong, Taylor Swift loves to like hype up her fan base to do this, to be like hidden clues and so that leads out to this album. But like, I've literally seen like people talk, like there was a picture of Taylor Swift when she's like 9 years old with this belt, and this belt has like different like bottle caps like screwed into it because it's, in 2006 when this picture was taken. And someone noticed that like the color of the like some of the colors of the bottle caps, like one was green and then one was yellow and then one was purple and then one was red, and someone was like, in no way, like insinuating, because those are the colors that the fan base has decided is the order of all of her albums, implying that when Taylor Swift was like 13 years old that she had already planned out the color schemes of her next 12 albums. And I'm just like, hey guys, sometimes things can just be coincidences. You're like, we knew that 1989 was going to be released first because when she was holding up her recent album, one of her nails was painted blue, and we all know that. I'm like, oh, and like so many instances like that where it's just like, on the one hand, like sometimes she just drops things and then you look back in hindsight, you're like, oh, what a cool coincidence. There's no such thing as a coincidence in a large part of this fan base, and that scares me. But I just want to look. This is going to be a Taylor Swift little, not about Taylor Swift. If I wanted to have an entire podcast episode about like the idea of Taylor Swift, of Taylor lore, that might be interesting. I might do a 2-parter where I do like Taylor's lore. Yeah, can you give me more time because I'm a procrastinator. But we're gonna talk about her in essence. But before we do that, I've been trying to figure out a way to start this without sounding like Jigsaw. Do you want to play a game?
Sure.
This is a famous game. I found it on TikTok.
Okay.
It's called Is It Shakespeare or Is It Taylor Swift?
Oh my God. Okay, I'm excited.
So I'm going to read you lines that I have found, and this took me a large chunk of my research. And you said you were a theater kid, right? And I'm going to say it, and you're going to guess whether or not this is from one of Shakespeare's many works or if this is a lyric from one of Taylor Swift's many albums.
I feel like this is going to be embarrassing for me, but it's fine. It's fine.
All right.
Okay.
My crown, my own ambition, and my queen.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Nice.
Got him.
Yes.
Past the curses and the cries, beyond the terror in the nightfall.
Taylor Swift.
You're doing good. That's 2 for 2.
Oh my God. Okay. Double it.
Double it. Pass to the next one.
Yeah.
And I'll stay, forgetting any other home than this.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare.
No. Fuck. I shouldn't have doubled it.
Long were the nights when my days once revolved around you.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I'd meet you where the spirit meets the bones in a faith-forgotten land.
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift.
No. Fuck.
I should be counting. I should be dallying.
Oh yeah.
Quick.
Yeah.
Dally.
Dally?
How many did you get so far?
I think I've got. Well, what number are you on? I think I've got 3, right?
You got 1, 2. I think you got 2.
No, I just got 1, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. If it's 2, it's 2. It's fine.
Is it romantic how all my elegies eulogize me?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Nice.
I'll be summer sun for you forever.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Is love a tender thing? Too rough, too rude?
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Nice.
My tongue will tell the anger of my heart, or else my heart concealing it will break.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Okay.
You're killing it. Good job for you, dude.
I'm bringing it back. We're making a comeback.
I want auroras and sad prose. I want to watch wisteria grow right over my bare feet.
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift.
Oh. Okay.
True love never did run smooth.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare.
No. Okay.
Men should be what they seem.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. I am one who loved not wisely, but too well.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare.
No. Damn. I was confident with that one too.
It's because of the too well.
Yeah, yeah.
King of thieves, weave your little webs of opacity.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. No legacy is so rich as honesty.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare.
Okay.
The fact that you can even, like, it's a 50-50 shot.
It's hard.
Life was a willow and it bent right to your wind.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Do not know I am a woman. When I think, I must speak.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. Never wield such power you forget to be polite.
Oh my God, how many of these are there?
Enough.
Okay, I'm a 10. Wait, sorry, do it again.
Never wield such power you forget to be polite.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
In from the snow, your touch brought forth an incandescent glow, tarnished but so grand.
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift. Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house.
Say it again.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, it deserves as well a dark house.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. In our history, across our great divide, there's a glorious sunrise, dappled with the flickers of light.
Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm. There's a way to kill a wife with kindness.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare. I wish to know the fatal flaw that makes you long to be magnificently cursed.
Say it again.
I wish to know the fatal flaw that makes you long to be magnificently cursed.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. His unkindness may defeat my life, but he'd never taint my love.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare. Fuck. If our love died young, I can't bear witness, and it's been so long.
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift. But love is blind, and lovers cannot see.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare.
No.
The Merchant of Venice.
Ugh.
Dare to sit confident. And watch what will become, and drink my husband's wine.
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift.
My streak is suddenly over.
I must be cruel, only to be kind.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare. Hamlet. If I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And so the battleships will sink beneath the waves. You had to kill me, but it killed you just the same.
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift. Does a scorpion sting when fighting back?
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift.
Damn.
But I will wear my heart upon my sleeve. I am not what I am.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare. Othello.
Every time I fucking switch it up, it's the other one. Because the thing is, I'm like, I've said Taylor Swift too many times. I have to say it, but it's also like, you've been wrong too many times. Like,
what's done can't be undone.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare.
No!
Macbeth. Perilous night, their voices calling, a flicker of light before the dawning. Out here, the wild ones are taming the fear within me.
Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's from Beautiful Ghosts, the song she wrote for cats.
Aww. Aww.
Love is a smoke raised with fumes of sighs, being purged, a fire sparkling in lovers' eyes.
Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm. Romeo and Juliet. You kiss by the book.
Taylor Swift.
Romeo and Juliet. Shakespeare. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare. Fuck. And there's nothing like a mad woman. What a shame she went mad.
Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Take the words for what they are. A dwindling mercurial high.
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, fuck, I lost count.
Young men's love then lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes.
Taylor Swift.
Shakespeare. Marry me, Juliet.
Taylor Swift!
That's Taylor Swift.
Yes! I know that one, bitch. Enchanted
right.
was my shit.
That's not Enchanted.
But that's from the Enchanted album, is it not?
Love Story, and it's the Speak Now album.
Okay, well, fuck me. I mean, clearly I'm not a Swiftie.
But you did pretty good.
Yeah. I did lose count. But okay, how many? Bitch, there were like 30.
Yeah.
So I was expecting like 10.
No.
I think I got like 16. I don't know. Roll the tapes.
But yeah, that's why like my computer is tilted all the way away from you. Is because I'm like
making sense.
This is making sense now. So I couldn't help but notice that you're like angled entirely perpendicular.
I know. I was like, why do you hate me?
What you said?
What are you hiding? You have messages coming up. They're just like, oh my god, can you believe Kaylynne? Fucking bitch. Yeah, you're like, oh. Oh god.
I love that that's a game though. Because like
I mean, sorry, it's Taylor Swift, not modern day Shakespeare.
One of the most cringy things that Taylor Swift ever said when she was on the set of Cats, which is so hard to have something cringiest on the set of Cats. That's a high bar to clear.
Yeah.
Is that she was, because all of Cats as a soundtrack, all of the lyrics to each song is based on a poem by T.S. Eliot, but they wanted to get like a song nomination. Like best new song at the Oscars, so and then like and you cast Taylor Swift, so like when you have her and Andrew Lloyd Webber like write a new song.
Wow.
But they ran out of poems for the entire show, so then Taylor Swift was like had to have the honor, nay, the privilege of writing what she thought like a T.S. Eliot poem would sound like, and she says if you can't get T.S. Eliot, then get T.S.
Yeah.
To really let that sit in.
I will say some of my favorite because I don't know, the Swiftie fans go crazy. And
we're just called the Swifties. There's no Swiftie fans. Her last name is Swift.
The fans of the fans.
It's Swift fans or Swifties.
Okay, the Swifties. I'm being educated. I need to have a more open mind and stop being defensive.
Okay, then fuck me.
The Swifties can be a little crazy, a little cuckoo, but they have good intentions. They just ride for her, and I can respect that. But she is a millennial.
She's so millennial.
Yes. So she's gonna do millennial things, and that's fine. This is completely unrelated, and I think I've already said this to you, but I want it to be known on the pod. I truly believe that, I don't know, sometimes I feel like now I'm coming to the age where I'm recognizing certain like phrase trends among like, I guess like elder Gen Z, and I'm like, oh my God, Gen Alpha's gonna like rip us apart for this.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna rip us apart for this. And one of those
for papas, it's a papa's party.
What's that?
It's like a TikTok trend where like, you know, you have to make your cats stretch their arms really high. Same with like a heck, like our like millennials version of like heckin' pupper is ours, like he is eepy.
Yeah.
That's one. The missile's very eepy.
Yeah. Yep. Another one, I think another one is like, I'm just a teenage like 23-year-old. They're ripping us apart. They're gonna rip us apart.
Honestly,
but it's fine.
Taylor Swift's millennialism gives me comfort just because like,
because she's human.
Not only that she's human, it's that at least that kind of, it's reassuring to know that she's a little normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like whenever she like acts like, you know, something that like isn't on trend, I'm just like, oh, thank God. Because like, you know, a lot of people are so tuned into like popular culture that like, you know, they still want to say the cool things and it still come across as like being hip and in the know. And not that she's entirely like out of the loop or anything, but like she just acts like a normal 32-year-old. And I think I'm like, oh, thank God. Because like for someone that's been in the music industry since she was like 11, she should have gone insane by now. And instead she's very like chuggy, which I'm like, it's relieving and comforting to know that like she still gives herself enough grace to be cringy. Like I'm definitely gonna go into like why sometimes she like makes me feel sad about like just her as a person, and one of them is like her desire to be liked all the time. Yeah. That I feel like it's comforting to know that she still allows herself to be seen as embarrassing sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like she's not afraid to be embarrassing. And that takes real courage, because even I'm afraid to be embarrassing on the internet and in front of millions of people. Yeah. Billions.
Life is embarrassing. It happens.
Yeah. So about Taylor Swift. Now that another reason like why that exercise is so fun to me is like, so when she wrote like Dear John and other songs, kind of alluding to John Mayer, he was asked about that and he called it kind of cheap songwriting, which I'm like, John Mayer, I don't think you have any word to say. Yeah, I just feel like in general, like Taylor Swift kind of has this reputation of like, her lyrics are like, you know, basic and shallow, and she just so frivolous and only never talks about boys that like, it's always nice to be like, and people get confused whether or not this line is William Shakespeare. And it's just nice to be like, look, talent. But yeah, about Taylor Swift. No, what?
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, I will say, okay, this is my opinion. This is my perspective of Taylor Swift. Oh my God, one of the most talented women on the planet. Like literally, like she genuinely has so much like songwriting talent, and also just her ability to like adapt and evolve as an artist is absolutely insane. Like she is so talented. I will never ever like say that she is not. I enjoy her music. I enjoy a lot of her music, especially, you know, obviously like her nostalgic songs that, you know, we grew up on, like love Picture to Burn. Love that song. Love that song.
Set me free in a karaoke bar.
Yeah, literally. However, she is a capitalist.
Yeah.
At the end, she's a very big capitalist at the end of the day, and I don't love that. I'm not obsessed with that for her. But I don't have a lot of opinions on her like personal life. I think it fucking sucks that her fans are so insane that like she can't do anything normal. She can't go to a fucking friend's wedding without being like harassed and bombarded by fans. I think that's disgusting.
That entire situation made me suddenly not be so mad at her for using her private jet that much.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? I'm like, sometimes you just kind of need a private jet, which is so like, imagine needing a private jet. Like, what do you want to do? Fly first class at Delta?
That's not happening.
The airport will get bombed.
Yeah, it like that makes me upset for her, and she's such a hard worker. Oh my God, if this fucking tour alone has proved anything, she is such a hard worker. Are you kidding me? To do that, touring by itself like is actually insane to me. But the fact that she's been doing this for months,
and each night is a 3-hour long live vocal. She's not like enough things have gone wrong. Like she's missed words. Like she's like lost the mic and she's like, you know, giggled while she's singing to prove that she's been singing live for 3-hour shows every night for months and will continue to do so for months.
Internationally, all of that travel, like that is so exhausting. Like mentally, physically, that has to be so exhausting and I think so hard on your body. And she does it and she fucking, I haven't heard her complain about it. Like it's just, I mean, she probably does in private. I fucking would. But so I do have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for her as like an artist. I don't know who the fuck she is as a person. Like she loves cats and I love that about her.
She loves a good red lip and I love that too.
Love a cat queen. But that's, those are my T Swift thoughts. Yeah. Good. I'm definitely not like the biggest fan of her ever. Just, I don't know. There's just so many people who like love her so much. And she's definitely not like my top 10 artists or whatever, but I do have a strong appreciation for her. Sorry, this opening up my drink. This is, I've never had this before. Peach nectarine sparkling water.
Peach nectarine.
Oh, nice.
That one was a good one.
It was a crisp one. Yeah, shout out to my roommate Taylor, who
speaking of one Taylor.
Oh yeah, other Taylor. My roommate Taylor Swift, who stole a bunch of beverages from her place of work. She didn't steal them. She had permission to take them, but now we have lots of beverages, and this is one of them. So, cheers. Anyway,
speaking of the Swift Taylor, I feel kind of bad for her. Like, okay, before we even get into that, she's gonna be fine. Like,
she'll survive.
She's gearing to become a billionaire just from this recent tour alone. And if the past decade has shown us anything, it's that there's no controversy that is in danger of killing her at this point. Taylor Swift is bulletproof. She will be dandy. She does not need me vouching for her to be like, can't we all just be if the bullying that she's been facing her entire career gets to her, she can wipe her tears with her thousands of dollars and her 5 mansion. She will be fine. She doesn't need me cheerleading. But I am just kind of use her as like an example of something that, like, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of relatable in a way. Because there's a very relatable undercurrent of panic in her work that I really want to talk about. Because I don't really see a lot of other, even Swifties, talking about it. And like this quote came out just a few days ago about Taylor Swift not headlining this year's Super Bowl. Quote, "The Super Bowl will be a nice thing to do someday, but it's not a defining moment for her right now. She knows she's at her peak in her career, and each move from this point on is as important as the next." End quote. And this is a quote she said in her documentary film Miss Americana, which was filmed in 2019 and came out in 2020. "We exist in a society where women in entertainment are discarded in an elephant graveyard by the time they're 35. End quote. She explained how young female artists must constantly reinvent themselves to keep working. Quote, "As I'm reaching 30, I'm like, I want to work really hard while society is still tolerating me being successful." End quote. So, like, Taylor Swift dreads losing the public's interest in being replaced and in being irrelevant. And she's been dreading this since 2012 in her song from the Red's Vault, which was going to be included in Red, which was released in 2012, but she backed out of it last minute, and she re-released it when she re-recorded the album. The lyrics, "Lord, what will become of me once I've lost my novelty? Will you still want me when I'm nothing new? Are we only biding time till I lose your attention? People love an ingenue. And I know someday I'm going to meet her. It's a fever dream, the kind of radiance you only have at 17. She'll know the way, and then she'll say she got the map from me. I'll say I'm happy for her, then I'll cry myself to sleep." And in her song Mirrorball, released in 2020, she sings, "I'm still on that tightrope. I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. I'm still a believer, but I don't know why. I've never been a natural. All I do is try. I'm still on that trapeze. I'm still trying everything to keep you looking at me." And I could keep going. Taylor talks very frequently that she's amazed that she's been allowed to exist this long, like being this big, in an industry that historically gets routinely sick of artists and ditches them almost immediately. Yeah. Not even based on like their first controversy, but like if they stagnate a second, if they're part of a trend and that trend is dead, like not only to exist as long as she has, but to exist this big for as long as she has, and in what seems to be an increasing like level of fame and attention, that doesn't happen. Truly. It's like, I don't know. It is really insane to think like when you think Taylor Swift can't get more famous and she can't get more relevant, she does. Yeah.
It's just, she's really doing the impossible, and like what a lot of other female artists unfortunately like fucking like don't have the opportunity to.
Yeah. As of right now, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is on track to becoming the biggest tour in history. She's already earned a projected gross of $2.2 billion in North American ticket sales alone. The Eras Tour is projected to generate close to $5 billion in consumer spending in the United States. Just the United States. And she's announced several international dates and a second leg of her U.S. tour. Quote, if Taylor Swift were an economy, she'd be bigger than 50 countries, says Dan Fleetwood, president of Question Pro Research and Insights, in a story for Global Newswire. On the opening night of Glendale, Arizona, the concert brought in more revenue for local businesses than the Super Bowl that year, which was held in February in the same stadium. To use that event as a comparison, Swift has been performing the equivalent of 2 to 3 Super Bowls every weekend for the past 5 months. The Illinois governor credited the musician with reviving the state's tourism industry after her 3 nights in Chicago. She was even mentioned in a report by the Fed, crediting her with fueling the national tourism industry. I even saw some people speculate that like so many people are like, are we in a recession? And over that, people are crediting her as one of the main reasons we haven't slipped into a full recession yet, because she is single-handedly keeping the economy alive. And I'm like, oh my God. So that's just the tour numbers. Like, at each show, she's getting 8 to 10 minute standing ovations. She's getting the most fan adoration and fan interaction that she has ever had. And she's still acting like any minute now the rug is about to be pulled underneath her. She is never comfortable in herself, in like her level of fame, in the things are gonna stay like this. She is always panicking about being left behind by like the general conversation. And like she's released 3 new albums and 3 re-recorded albums since her statement in 2019 about like, I want to ride this ride as long as they can let me, with highly anticipated 3 re-records coming, 1 confirmed later this year, 2 unconfirmed but probably showing up sooner rather than later. She's also announced she's like writing new music. She wants to direct a film. Like, her concerts themselves are 3 hours of her singing with costumes and set changes, and like that effort, that amount of never resting, of always stretching yourself. Like, name one other artist who was working even a 10th of that hard to remain relevancy. Yeah. And like, she is Taylor Swift. She is the music industry at this point. The record she breaks and the impact that she has will have people talking for the rest of her life, and then it's still not enough where she feels secure enough to relax. She's been convinced like of this mindset that like this album will be the last thing that I do that people will care about since 2017. Like, if this tour, if the Eras Tour hasn't convinced her that she's not going anywhere, I doubt anything ever will. And that's just kind of what makes me sad. Like, in her recent songs, in her interviews, in her TikToks, her appearances in the press, like, she has this palpable attitude of exhausting herself, of going like a million miles a minute, because she genuinely believes that like she just needs to take advantage of the seconds of fame that she has left. Like, any minute now, the world will just decide that her time has come and her albums don't matter, and she'll get a Vegas residency and live off radio play like all the other giant pop sensations that are in her age bracket. Like, she'll pull a Katy Perry and Adele. They still release new music and people still listen to them. They still have fans, but their time has come. Their moment is over. Their momentum is gone. Like, and it's just this, that makes me kind of sad.
No, that's really fucking sad.
Right?
I have to be honest. Well, and I don't know. Again, I don't know Taylor Swift personally.
Yeah, I'm not about to pretend like I do.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what's going on in that brain of hers, but I don't know why I feel like the saddest part of it all is like, and maybe I'm misinterpreting this, but it almost sounds like the desperation for relevancy and fame. Like, it doesn't, frankly, she could never make another dollar in her life, and like, she's fine. Yeah. She's literally fine.
More than fine.
Yeah. So it's like, why?
She's not even doing it for the money at this point.
No,
she can't be.
Absolutely not. So it's just like, why is that so important? Like, why is that so important to you, to be this beloved, to be this famous? And we've seen her, I mean, that, you know, again, we don't know what happened in her relationship, but like, what's speculated is that her, you know, recent relationship literally ended because she was not willing to give up the level of fame that she has for, you know, for what's his face, I don't know, Joe. Yeah. And that's, you know, what's speculated to have, like, you know, caused this fission in their relationship. But yeah, I don't know. That is really sad. And I'm a little like, not to psychoanalyze, but
no, yeah, that's what this episode is.
You're like, no, that's literally what I'm doing. I just wonder.
Project on her, everyone. Essentially and this is the even more sad part, she's kind of given up her personhood in exchange of being a symbol, so you can kind of project anything you want onto her, which is, I think, one of my theories as to why her fan base can be so rabid, is because she is you, and anything that you have personally gone through that you see in her songs, like, she knows you are the same as Taylor. So feel free to project whatever you want onto her, because unfortunately I kind of feel like it's like a Marilyn Monroe, Norma Jean situation of, like, Taylor Swift the idea and, like, Taylor Swift the person are different.
Yeah, I'm like, I guess I just wonder why this is so important to her. I'm like, I feel sad that she's not at a point where she can feel completely secure and, like, loved, because that's what it feels like it boils down to, without millions of people, like, swarming fucking stadiums. I don't know, that just seems that, I mean, truly, that does seem like a sad existence, and it makes me wonder. And I feel like, especially at this level of fame, and I feel like she talked about this in the Miss Americana documentary as well, where it's like, you know, when you're at a certain level of fame, like, you really have to be careful of the people who you surround yourself with, and, like, people are going to want to be your friends for, you know, not, like, pure reasons. And it makes me sad that it feels like maybe she doesn't have, like, close personal relationships that she feels like she can get that love and adoration from. I don't know. It's weird, and maybe it's narcissistic. Like, I mean, I feel like you have to be a little bit narcissistic.
I mean, she even says in a recent thing, she's like, "Do you hear my covert narcissism? My disguise as altruism." Yeah,
like, you know, you have to be a little, like, self-obsessed to need to feel that important on, like, a global level. But
and historically, she does not take criticism well. And then I'm not saying that as, like, a you need to take criticism well type of thing. Like, to be fair, like, kind of in the very similar vein of, like, the Twilight episode, a lot of people hated Taylor Swift way back when for very misogynistic reasons, kind of claiming that she's, like, the like, man-eater thing with, like, Liv Taylor. Yeah. Was it Liz or Liv? I don't remember. Liv, right? Because she's Elizabeth Taylor. Let's just say her full name.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's a man-eater. She goes through all these boyfriends, and, she's, whatever. But she sang song after song about, like, first it was Mean, where she's like, you're a lawyer, and pathetic. Like, she doesn't take, because I think she knows more than anyone. I think another reason why she's very weary at the top of her career right now, first of all, that she moves the goalposts as top of her career. Like, I feel like she's been like, no, I can't make any wrong moves. I'm not at the peak of my career. And she's been saying that for, like, 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe that mindset is what is helping her, grow. Yeah.
But I think going through, like, periods of time where the public wasn't in her favor, I feel like has really made her, like, grip the chair beneath her and be like, I've seen what happens when I don't have public acceptance anymore. Yeah. Like, luckily for her, she managed to turn her big blowout with, like, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian into a giant stadium selling album. But for a while, she was unpopular, and that, like, she says later that it was kind of freeing, because for a long time, like, ever since Kanye West first stormed the stage in the 2009 VMAs and took the microphone from her and was like, Beyonce had a better album, she says that, like, people started booing Kanye because they're like, get off the stage. She thought they were booing her.
Yeah.
She thought that, like, when she was taking the award, that she has this crowd of people that were booing her, and she had never, like, I feel like that messed with her a little bit. And then a lot of, like, online trolls, like, she has said every time that Taylor Swift mentions her haters, take a shot, and all of the songs are like, and that's why I don't care. I'm like, Taylor,
but you care so much.
I know you care. I mean, like, anyone would care, but pretending you don't care is kind of, you wrote a song about how much you don't care. You care a little bit. And I think it's, like, and so many songs about, like, she's afraid that that'll happen again, that one wrong move and everyone will hate me. She even has, like, another From the Vault track from Speak Now with Hayley Williams, where she's like, please don't hate me. I never wanted you all to hate me. Like, one of these days you're just going to stop screaming my name. You're just going to start screaming at me. And I'm just like, ugh. Like, that's what a headspace to be in. And, like, not to be the whitest person ever and make a Hamilton reference while I'm talking about Taylor Swift. But it's kind of giving that, like, Hamilton's repeated motif in the musical that he writes like he's running out of time.
Yeah.
Like, that he does the most when he really doesn't need to. He, like, writes more than anyone else has any, like, reason to. That he goes overboard, almost like he has this premonition that he's going to die young. I'm not insinuating that Taylor Swift is going to die young. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is I feel like maybe it's wise that she's never letting herself get too comfortable. It's kind of giving like Game of Thrones in that way, where it's like never feel so comfortable on the throne that, you know, you're never looking out for your adversaries. I feel like this long in the industry has made her grow enough of a thick skin, and experiences with friends in the past has really made her feel like ultra weary about like who to trust and to never take anything for granted. And on the one hand, how humble, you know, that you never take any, but also at the same time, it's like she doesn't take her great success as like, I made it. Like, she has so many moments on tour where like people will give her a standing ovation and she'll start crying. She's like, what? And, like she's still surprised. Like, she'll sing a song like, and when I went to see her at my Eras tour date, she was like, if you know the words to this one, I'll be really surprised because I released it this morning and people did. And she was like flabbergasted. Yeah. And I'm like, Taylor, you can't be this surprised.
Yeah, I'm like, do you think part of it's an act?
Part of it might be, genuinely. And like, someone also said that Taylor Swift is one of the, like, she's like the third most photographed person in the world.
Oh my God.
And you watching her perform, she is a woman who knows her angles. She knows exactly how she looks at any given angle, at any given moment. So I think she's very well aware while she's on stage, the performance that she is giving, and, you know, I guess what she's presenting herself to be to other people. But I think genuinely some of it, also like on my night too, she premiered this music video and people were like looking at her, like she was sitting on the stage looking at the big screen with everyone else, and people were looking at her, and she was like, what are you doing looking at me? Like, she was gesturing to the screen. She's like, why are you all looking at me? I'm like, because you're Taylor, you're on the stage. And, like, I've talked with people about, like, when is Taylor Swift going to retire with all this money that she'll have earned? And, like, my genuine response is that I don't think she knows how to retire. I don't think she'll let herself retire. Like, even with this last tour, it's like, how do you top that? Like, how do you top a global, worldwide tour where you sing your entire discography and celebrate your entire career? How can you top that? Can you top that? Like, you do that. Like, Elton John can do that because he's a man in his 60s and this is his final farewell tour. And maybe that's just how it works when you're a woman in your 30s. You get to behave like you're a man in his 60s.
Spit.
Damn. Like, I feel like the second that Taylor Swift, like, plateaus, she'll take it as a failure. Yeah, and, like, that's that relatability that kind of hurts my heart. Because, like, who among us? Yeah. You know, bringing it back to... Because I feel like that's what's so relatable. And if there's one thing that Taylor Swift has made her brand, it is relatability. Which is so impressive to do at this scale. And not feel like she's being pandering. Like, so many country artists that sing songs about, like, dirt roads and small towns and working on the farm. Those bitches are millionaires. They've never touched a fucking tractor in their fucking life. Even Taylor did that, where she was like, I'm a country singer. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is where you're from. And it feels just so, like, fake and pandering. But, like, Taylor Swift makes her problems feel like problems that I went through, which is crazy. Like, Kanye West didn't steal my mic on stage. I didn't go into hiding due to a feud with Kim Kardashian. I'm not a quadrillionaire who's fucked Harry Styles. But her songs about, like, feeling lost, about feeling used, like, falling in love, having your heart broken, about, like, having a loved one, like, get sick and die, about life being complicated. I can relate to that. And I feel like you said earlier, like, how much of that is an act and how much of this is, like, performative authenticity, because, like, authenticity is seen as, like, more important to, like, the overall conversation of whether or not it's authentic makes the art better versus if it was just, like, from someone else's point of view.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. Well, I was literally thinking I feel like she, first of all, I do think a lot of it's an act. I think she, like you said, she is hyper aware of how she presents herself, not only on stage, but also, like, in the media, obviously. And even, like, being at her concert, I remember, you know, she did her, like, a whole speech thing where she was like, oh my God, I'm so amazed at, like, all of you guys here. I'm so thankful for you. I'm so grateful for you. Like, I can't even comprehend that, like, this is where I am. Like, you guys are the best. She fucking knows how to work a room.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not even that big of a Taylor Swift fan, and I was like, oh my god, Taylor.
She's talking to me.
Yes. Oh my god, no, she knows how to make every single person in that stadium like feel seen and feel like she like knows them. The fucking oh my god, what's it called? Why can't I think of the word?
Parasocial?
Yes.
Ha ha ha.
Queen. She knows how to fucking milk that parasocial relationship. Like absolutely. And I think she's also aware that a lot of her brand is dependent on how relatable and authentic she is. And that's a fucking challenge. That's a challenge to do when she's at the level of fame that she is.
Didn't Selena Gomez try to do something similar and it fucking backfired?
Yeah, I will say,
because they're friends. I don't want to bash one woman for another, but
yeah. And I don't know. I don't have like an ill opinion of. Again, like I don't fucking know these people. I don't know. But Selena Gomez came out with her documentary, and I watched it, and I came out of it with like a worse opinion of her, which I feel like is
counterintuitive.
Yeah, I'm like, you like executive produced this. Like I don't know. Like that feels weird where it's like, are you that out of touch where you're like, I look amazing, this is awesome, my fans are gonna love this, and then I finished watching the movie and I was like, girl, that was not like that was not what you that was not what you thought it was. Like I don't know, it just felt it felt very out of touch. But with the Miss Americana documentary, literally sobbing everything that she has to say, and it's like it's interesting because she doesn't even really say anything that profound in the documentary about like, you know, what it is to be a woman in the industry.
Watching Barbie,
like how much harder it is than if I were a man, or you know how her like body image issues and all of that. Oh my god, that fucking spoke to me and I sobbed.
Her mom's cancer.
It like and it's interesting because I watched the documentary. This was actually a while ago. This was like a couple months ago. This was when we were like first starting the podcast. And I watched the documentary and made note of the fact that it's just so intentionally made. Like it literally opens up to her. I think it like opens up to her just like practicing, like writing music in her house, her like multi-million-dollar house, and she's like hanging out with her cats and she's journaling and like it's just very, she's in fucking overalls. Like it is so like immediately relatable. And I think that's very, very intentional. And I even watched a TikTok recently that was kind of breaking down like her style, like her street style, and how like she doesn't really take any risks with fashion. Like all of her fashion choices are very I don't know, they tend to be kind of like, you know, whatever is on trend, but also like in kind of a classic way.
I actually think she dresses a lot like you.
I don't disagree, which is interesting.
Like she doesn't take any risks, and I'm like, you mean like this you? I didn't mean to make it sound like that.
No, I mean I don't think I take fashion risks. Like I don't know, there are certain things like I like what I like, and I think I like simpler. I've learned that I like simpler silhouettes. Yeah, and I like more
timeless
classic pieces and stuff. Yeah, and stuff like that. So I'm actually very similar to Taylor in that way.
They're the same body type as Taylor Swift also.
No, she's like 6 feet tall. But she like, I don't know, it was just interesting. They were kind of breaking down her style and speculating that it's like done very intentionally so that she can seem relatable. You know, she's not like flashing brands everywhere. And
she's wearing jelly shoes in her like album cover.
Yeah, and I think so much of her brand is that relatability and is that way to like connect with everyone, which is very challenging and I think very impressive that she does it so well. But it's like I don't know how she does it. I really don't know how she does it because it doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel fake. Yeah. It feels completely authentic. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what you're doing. The odds of
this aren't good that it is purely authentic. Like,
yeah, I'm like, you know what you're doing, and this is very curated. But like, she does such an amazing job of making it feel like so real.
I think it's because what I was saying like at the very beginning of the episode is I feel like what makes it feel more authentic is that it's not perfect. Like she allows herself to be a little cringy sometimes. Yeah. You'd think if she was really like trying that hard to be like uber relatable to like more teenager, she would try to look cooler. And I think looking cool is not exactly Taylor Swift's like priority. And I think that's what makes it feel more real, is that like, I don't know, like she's allowing herself to be embarrassing and real. Like it's curated, but it's not perfect. Like, you know, like her no makeup is absolutely not no makeup or anything, but she's still like, I don't know, has a like an unflattering grandma sweater with like a cat on it.
Yeah.
But like if you really wanted to, you know, be like cool and hip, you wouldn't put that on. So I feel like that's why it's a little bit more like talking to like your older sister or something that like grew out of the fashion trends. It doesn't really care about stuff like that.
She's like a little quirky, and it like that makes her all the more endearing, I think.
Endearing is a really good word.
Yeah.
And like not only that, but she has like the most intimate relationship with her fans out of any artist I've ever seen. And like back in like the period between like Red and 1989, she would just be on Tumblr and just interact with fans. You could be invited to bake cookies with Taylor herself if she liked your vibes. She would send you a DM and be like, come here, want to hang out? And she like she would. There are so many pictures of Taylor with fans, not at like meet and greets, but like at events, her house, her apartment, that she would just, fans were just invited to. Like she sent them Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. She like would remember when their cat died and send them like something with like a handwritten note attached to it. And like she really wanted to show everyone that she was a girl next door. She was famous, but she was relatively normal. And she was like more like relatable in that way, which I think is why she has accidentally amassed like, I saw a tweet where it was like, we should all thank Taylor Swift for stopping even more white women from joining QAnon. Because they've used all their QAnon sensibilities to dissect her personal life and not like Joe Biden's. Where it's like she blinked.
It's giving them an outlet.
She blinked 4 times very specifically in this one video, which means that track 4 is going to be like it. And I'm not even exaggerating when I like that's real.
Yeah, no, that's so funny.
But yeah, just in general, like the inability to relax and wanting everyone to like you, I feel like is the most, I feel like, you know, again, Taylor Swift is the idea. You can kind of project whatever you want onto like the relatability of her. And what's relatable to me from all of this is her, you know, inability, her anxieties about like, when's this gonna end? Like things are good now, but I've been at the receiving end of backlash before. Like someone on Twitter is gonna be like, has anyone ever discovered that like Taylor Swift might be like overrated? And then it just takes one. And I mean, she's bigger than any other female artist right now, and we all know that, like, you know, you can only get so big before you get so threatening and people just become annoyed. I think she's not at that place right now. Give it a year. I think that maybe when she's out of the public consciousness enough that like the pendulum will swing back this way. But that's just speculation. I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm like, I almost wonder if some of that is almost a technique as well. To make her seem more like it makes her seem very grateful for what she has, and it makes it really seem like she's not taking any of this for granted. And I think that's one of the most like dislikable qualities of celebrities is when it feels like
I earned this.
Yeah, when they feel like they are almost like they know, or I guess like don't know what they have. I don't know, but like they seem out of touch in that way, where they're like, oh no, like everyone has a G-Wagon and a private jet. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is just my life. And I think because she is very vocal about these anxieties that she has, that makes her even more relatable, because you're like, oh my God. I mean, frankly, how many of us have been there? I feel like you can be the most secure person in the world, and, you know, at the end of the day, you're still going to have those voices in the back of your head that are being like, and all of your friends hate you. And, you know, like, I feel like that's something that everyone kind of experiences. And because she's so vocal about her, like, fear of that and her gratefulness for what she does have and her fear of losing that, it makes her more likable.
No, I mean, like, to a certain point, I would argue it'd be more calculated if she wasn't also very staunch about like artist rights for like owning their work. I feel like she's kind of she's willing to die on that hill rather than be like, well, you know, she does say like this, I deserve my work. And if she was like, you know, if she was so much of a people pleaser, she wouldn't put so much stake into that. In fact, she's kind of has a reputation of being a hard ass when it comes to her stuff. Like, she's gotten a little hot water in the past for, like, if you use a Taylor Swift song in, like, your vlog, that'll get taken down. Like, you know, if you use a Taylor Swift song and you don't use permission, which is why a lot of people are, like, freaking out every time Taylor Swift songs, like, do appear in, like, trailers and stuff. Because they're like, how did you get this? When Taylor Swift appears in Heartstopper, they're like, how did you get this? And, like, Taylor Swift had to purposefully watch the scene and allow them to use that song because, like, she's that... So I feel like, you know, she can be kind of seen as, like, as a tight ass to, like, a lot of her critics for, like, complete non-leniency when it comes to her permission and in owning her work and in doing re-records in general of, like, because she couldn't buy her work back. She's like, I'm humble and I'm grateful, but also I deserve to own this. And I feel like her balancing that is admirable also.
I know. I'm like, that's so interesting because I don't see that as, like, her being a bitch. Like, you know, like, no. I see how maybe people could interpret it as that, but, and maybe it's because I'm a Virgo. I'm just gonna bring it up every single time.
It's been 20 minutes.
But I'm like, I don't know, like, I must feel like that's relatable. It's like, yeah, that's your fucking music. And it sucks that this, like, record company, who, like, didn't do shit for you, owns it all. Like, that's not right. That's not, you know, and so it's interesting because I agree with her on that. And I support all of her, you know, artists, right? And I think that a lot of artists do get, you know, taken advantage of in that way. And I really appreciate that she does fight for that. But I totally understand what you're saying and, like, how other people, you know, would interpret that as her being, like,
greedy. Like, you really need this, like, you can't let this one time slide.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna, like, she's not afraid to sue a bitch.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to bring them to court.
I'm like, it's the principle of it all, right? Yeah. Like, that's really what it comes down to. So I don't disagree with her on that. That's interesting though. I didn't think about that.
Well, those are all my notes, and I'll be honest, I'm gonna end this last segment very quickly because I raised my arm to talk, and the airflow of air hitting my arm was cold. I don't know if you notice, if you're watching this video, I am melting. My bangs are sticking to my forehead. My hair is wet on the back of my neck. We are in a heat advisory right now, and to record the podcast, we do turn the AC off so it doesn't fuck with the audio. I'm not thriving.
This is the sacrifice that podcasters have to make.
Oh my god, my shirt's wet.
No, it is it's incredibly warm in here.
But one of my favorite little anecdotes is, you know how I said that Taylor loves to, like, put little Easter eggs, you know, if you know, you know. And one such time was her very popular song, Enchanted. And one person was convinced that they read the signs and knew exactly what she was trying to say. And that one person was Owl City, the Fireflies man himself. She released the song, and he became not only just convinced that it was about him because they met at a party and, like, some of the timelines matched up. But when he did release it, he wrote a letter on his personal blog. Going to read.
What's his name?
Adam Young, I believe. Adam Young. Ada Young, not what I wanted. Adam. Excuse me.
Singer?
No, Ada Young. Adam Young. There he is. Oh, no. The third picture on Google is him and Taylor Swift at the party that they met. Uh-oh. Him. One blistery evening last October, I waited impatiently until the clock told midnight and then promptly brought Taylor Swift's new record on iTunes. I played it in the kitchen. I played it in the car. I played it at the radio. I played it on flights to Japan and back. Flex. I just couldn't keep away from it. Speak Now was an indisputable leader of my top 5 record list of 2010, which is slightly ironic because the other 4 albums were abstract, experimental, post-rock, ambient works. Adam. I always loved decoding the sneaky secret messages hidden in Taylor's written lyrics, so naturally, the day Speak Now came out, I played the whole thing from top to bottom as I added up the capital letters per each song's set of lyrics. As track 8 came to a close and the album switched over to track 9, a breathtaking song called Enchanted, and one of my favorites on the entire record, something began to feel curiously familiar. I couldn't put my finger on it. Why did the song feel so personal? Why was it ringing a bell? Perhaps it was merely the word wonderstruck that indeed struck a sweet chord. But before the second chorus hit, I already added up the letters. A, D, A, and then it hit me like a freight train. I didn't even need to find that last letter M. A colorful swirl of memories flashed before my eyes as it all added up. My jaw hit the floor. The track is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so tremendously honored that Taylor would write such an elegant song and thereby offer a gracious nod in my direction. Needless to say, I was lost for words and utterly smitten. I couldn't stop smiling. Everyone's faces when I showed them this letter is the exact same. I figured such an eloquent gesture could be reciprocated by the most polite, heartfelt, and respectful response I could possibly muster. It's no secret that I'm a bit shy, so... Adam. So naturally, music was the most articulate way of attempting such a sincere endeavor. Me when I'm just in my thesaurus era. How does one respond to such a personal outpouring of emotion and sentiment? I tossed and turned over that one. They say timing is everything, and that brings us to now. Today is Valentine's Day. And thus, here is my reply. Dearest Taylor, I'll be the first to admit I'm a rather shy boy.
Stop.
And since music is the most eloquent form of communication I can muster, I decided to record something for you, as sort of a reply to the breathtaking song on your current record. This is what I wanted so badly to tell you in person, but I could never quite put into words. Now I feel like I'm intruding. Everything about you is beautiful. You're an immensely charming girl with a wonderful heart and more grace and elegance than I know how to describe. You are a true princess from a dreamy fairy tale, a modern Cinderella. I'm terribly sorry it's taken me such a long time to reply, but I figured Valentine's Day was the perfect time to write this note to you and simply say, I was enchanted to meet you too. Love, Adam. Was that the end of it? Of course it wasn't. Enchanted. So he did re-record, remember that time Adam Brown said declared his love? He did re-record Taylor's song back to her, including such lyrics as, hold on, it's like not, he has a sense taken this, it is not available on Spotify. Like, you can't find this unless you're only going on YouTube. So where in the original song it goes, oh, I was so enchanted to meet you, it adds an additional, oh, Taylor, I was so enchanted to meet you too, where he sings the regular song as per usual, in which you were like, okay, so you're just singing the whole thing, and then instead of anything, adding to the additional, I was so enchanted to meet you. So he sings the whole song, he name drops Taylor twice, and then I was enchanted to meet you too. That's all. So we've reached embarrassing maybe 4 stops ago, but this can still be salvaged, right? I mean, it's still very embarrassing, but like adding her name, saying to, like, it's not the worst thing ever.
Like, whatever.
And then no, he keeps going because he doesn't know when to stop. Very relatable in this way.
5 minutes. Is the original song 5 minutes?
No. I think he adds a little bit more instrumentals. And it's when he adds a little bit of an outro where there wasn't before. Where she goes, please don't be in love with someone else. Please don't have somebody waiting on you, right? Mm-hmm. He goes, you know what? I'm not worried about Adam copyright striking me. Was never in love with someone else. I never had somebody waiting on me. 'Cause you were all of my dreams come true. And I just wish you knew, Taylor, I was so in love with you. She never responded.
And you know she saw it. You know she had to have seen it. There's no way she's never, like...
So maybe in private she said something. Yeah. But from the sense of his blog, I would have... Maybe he might have said something if she had reached out personally. Because I needed to include that because see so many, like, newer Taylor fans being like, oh, and this song was about Adam. I'm like, no, it wasn't. No, it was not. I know it looks like that from the outside, mm-hmm. but Taylor has never... I mean, Taylor hasn't, like, super confirmed a ton, but, like, enough. Like, sources close to Taylor confirm that this is so and this is whatever, and, mm-hmm. I could put on my tinfoil hat and be like, this song's about this X and this song's about this one. she has never, nor her, nor any of her loved ones, nor any of her friends have ever confirmed that this was anything other than Adam reading too much into a Taylor Swift song, which I didn't know was possible. And you know what? Maybe that's hubris. She's like, you can think whatever you want in my songs. Oh no. If it isn't the consequences of my own actions. But you know what? Yeah. She's single now, Adam. And I think...
I mean, it's like a bit serial killer behavior, but it's not
single right now. Google's gonna be like, girl, why do you want to know? He's currently single, according to our records. Adam, swoop in. Joe's out of the picture. She's no longer fucking Maddie Healy. It's your time.
That's just kind of sad. I'm just like, Adam.
This whole episode is sad. I managed to make a Taylor Swift episode sad.
Wasn't that inevitable?
Wasn't that just the Swiftie way?
Yeah, that Adam, why did you do that?
It wasn't just...
It's just the way that it was so public. Like, you did not have to do... Like, you have an agent. Your agent doesn't fucking have Taylor Swift's contact. Like, yeah, just be like, hey, can you figure out who Taylor Swift's agent is? And, like, you know, get her... Like, that's very easy to do, I feel like. And you...
Especially in, like, 2009. I mean, like, she wasn't unpopular, but she'd only released, like, 2 albums, though, at the time.
Yeah, she wasn't, like, the superstar that she is today. Like, I feel like you could have very easily...
Like, she did, like, a year or so before, she cameoed on Phineas and Ferb. Like, it's not... You could have figured something out.
It's just such, like... This sounds so bad, but such like nice guy behavior when they're like, but don't girls want grand romantic gestures? And it's like, not like that,
And Adam. He figured out the clue in it was the fact that the first letters of, I'm like, this is giving a little bit the Zodiac Killer.
Literally. No, he has a cork board with fucking red strings, like... Sir, no, that's unhinged.
And what's
behavior,
more relatable than going on being on the receiving end of something like that? Taylor Swift really is for the girls.
Yes. And you know what? Frankly, like, been there.
I've also been there. Adam.
Yeah, like, haven't we all connected dots that weren't there? I was in high school when I did that, but you know, some of us.
That was me yesterday.
Yes.
I've connected the dots. You haven't connected shit. I've connected them.
Yeah. What a way to end it.
And that's Shakespeare. Taylor Swift is Shakespeare. That's Shakespeare.
She's gonna come out like 50 years later or something.
You're like, if that was Adam.
Yeah, it actually was
we're gonna
about
look
him.
like assholes.
Yeah.
my secret husband, Adam, that I've been married secretly for 50 years.
Shows you wrong.
Anyway, I'm melting. I need to take like a bath in cold ice water.
Yeah, it's so hot, and my little butt cheek hurts from sitting.
Not your little butt cheek. You had to preface little my little girl frame and my delicate little girl voice. It scares people.
No,
my Shrek swamp ass. It's hurting me.
No, it's a little sore. We've been sitting on our asses for like 4 hours.
Get up and work.
Get up and work. Yes, thank you guys so much for listening.
Not us quoting Kim K in the Taylor Swift episode. Sorry.
Blasphemy. We appreciate you listening. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Bye.
Bye.